So how you been doing, man?
I'm good. Opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Hey, hello, and welcome to Open, the one and only talk show that brings the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world right to you. I'm your host, Darren Hyman. Here's a look at what's coming up in today's show. First up, we talk to BronxWorks about their 40 years of celebration and the Latin Jazz Summer Concert Series at 52 Park. Then BAM Books Week is coming up, and we'll tell you about some local events that you can participate in. Plus, New York Cares Day, or New York Cares Day focuses on cleaner learning environments for our children, and they're here to tell us more on My Block Films. We'll explain the fun details of their challenge to New York City filmmakers. And finally, we'll hear about Hostos Community College's homecoming this weekend. So stick around because all this and much more is coming up. Right now, we're officially open. And welcome, Bronxites, to another edition of Open. Today is Wednesday, September 26, 2012. I'm your host, Darren Hyman, and we're glad to have you here on Open. Open is the show that's bringing you the inside scoop on all things local and the best in worldwide news. We're also live, and we want you to remind you to give us a call at 718-960-7241. Or you can always send us an email at open@bronxnet.org with any and all of your comments that you might have on the show. And we're also on the social networking sites. You can find us at Facebook at Open BronxNet Television, and on Twitter at BronxNet TV. And of course, you can watch us straight from our website at www.bronxnet.org at any time. We'll kick things off today. BronxWorks has been working in the Bronx for 40 years. From helping children find positive after-school activities to keeping whole families off of the street. They've even helped to renovate community spaces like 52 Park, which hosts a Latin Jazz Summer Concert Series in the summer. To speak more about BronxWorks and their work, we welcome now Ken Smalls, Director of Development, to the show. And welcome, Ken.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Talked about being around for about 40 years. I mean, I don't want to date ourselves, but we've been doing this for quite a long time, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
And
yes,
things just continue to get better year by year, huh?
Yeah.
Well, share with us a little bit about this here. So you got the 40th year celebration of BronxWorks.
Yeah, the idea of BronxWorks doing 40 years of celebration really goes back to the spring of this year. We went into our organization archives, we looked back, and we discovered that the first BronxWorks office actually opened December 10th, 1972. And we said, what could be a better way to celebrate what BronxWorks has done, what kind of impact we've had on the Bronx, other than by having a whole year of celebration. So we had, if you will, a pre-kickoff in terms of our agency-wide staff meeting, where we took a look at where the Bronx was in the early to mid-'70s, how things have changed through the years, the role that BronxWorks has played in terms of making that happen. We had our big annual event in May, and Dr. Fernandez, who very much is affiliated with Lehman College, the president, he was one of the folks that we honored. And the idea came about of let's do something that speaks to what BronxWorks has done through the years, and let's also take a look at things that we could do in terms of connecting with other community institutions. So we didn't just want it to be a BronxWorks thing, we wanted it to be something where we could demonstrate partnerships and relationships that we have with other institutions. And we're very fortunate to have on our board Bill Aguado, who, as you know, for many years headed the Bronx Council on the Arts.
And it makes all the difference having people such as Bill as a part of that. Give me a little bit about this, because you guys have been very consistent in terms of meeting residents' needs of the
Yeah.
community, disadvantage, anywhere from, housing to,
Yeah.
referral services. What has been the staple for you guys over these 40 years?
I would say the thing that probably most people associate Bronx Works with is work that we've done in the housing arena. And when I say the housing arena, things that we've done to keep people in permanent housing. When Bronx Works was first founded in 1972, one of the things we looked to do was to work with senior citizens who were vulnerable to losing their apartments. And through the years, we've broadened our focus not only to work with seniors at risk of losing their apartments, but families of working age adults as well. And oftentimes I'll be walking along the streets of the Bronx, and sometimes I'll be wearing my Bronx Works name tag, and a person will come up to me and say to me, I was at risk of losing my apartment, and someone at a Bronx Works office helped me to keep my apartment. So I think housing is probably something that a lot of folks associate with us.
Give us a little bit about Banned Books Week, because we talked about this in the teaser a little bit. What is Banned Books Week?
That we might be getting something a little mixed
I'm sorry.
up here.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I slipped my note here.
It's okay.
52 People for Progress.
52 People for Progress is a wonderful organization that has been in the Longwood and Woodstock area of the Bronx. This is something I didn't realize, but there's actually a Woodstock section of the Bronx, and it's in the Southeast Bronx. And what 52 People for Progress has done is they took a park across the street from PS/IS 52, which coincidentally is the place where Colin Powell went to middle school. This was a park which by the time the 70s had come around was in a state of disrepair. So folks from the neighborhood came together to create an organization called 52 People for Progress, and they worked to renovate and restore the park. So you now have the park itself, you have a playground, you have an amphitheater, and you also have a very beautiful community garden. And it's really a testimony to the neighborhood folks coming together, folks who didn't want the Bronx to be, or their neighborhood in the Bronx to become another one of those statistics or another bad story. And over the course of the last 30 years, it's turned out to be a wonderful story.
One of the greatest stories that we have coming out of the Bronx is that of the New York Yankees, of course, and Bernie Williams, being a longtime New York Yankee.
Yes.
His now involvement with you guys. Share with us about this here.
Well, again, this really goes back to the folks at 52 People for Progress. And again, I really have to take my hat off to Bill Aguado, because it was Bill Aguado, Al Quinones, and Steve Mendez who really reached out to the folks who worked with Bernie Williams to get him to come to 52 Park to do a concert that we had this past Saturday. And it's a wonderful feeling to have someone like Bernie Williams come back to the Bronx, since he had spent so many years here. And the concert was just, it was an awesome experience.
A little bit interesting to see his playing talents on a different level.
Well, it's interesting. You're used to seeing Bernie Williams on the baseball field, but now I think he's had a very successful transition onto the music stage.
Yeah, he's done this while he was playing baseball. Actually, to see him actually do it now, almost like full time, is like amazing. But you guys really had a great time out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because one of the things that he joked about when he was performing on Saturday was when the Yankees used to have field trips and they'd be traveling, oftentimes on planes, he would play the guitar. And on occasion, Derek Jeter, who I think will be this year's MVP, used to sing along with him.
So they made a motley crew.
Kind of, sort of.
That's it. Well, give us now a little, so as we're talking about Bronx Works, obviously down through the years we've been together, and I said at the outset, we've seen the progression of your organization. Nobody's ever satisfied with where you are. You're always looking to go even further. 40 years later, what do you still have on the fire to say, listen, this is what we want to get accomplished in the near future?
Again, I have to go back to housing, because I see housing as being such a critical concern for Bronx residents, particularly at this time when rents seem to be going through the roof all throughout New York City. And for a lot of folks who live in the city, the Bronx is, if you will, kind of becoming the last place of affordable housing. So we're seeing a lot of things happening at the community level where, yes, neighborhoods are changing because the demographics are changing, but we're also seeing a lot of folks who are very concerned about how are they going to pay their rent, how are they going to sustain themselves. It's really interesting because there was a period in time when I think a lot of folks shied away from living in the Bronx, and the Bronx lost a lot of housing stock. But over the past 35 plus years, the Bronx has gained an incredible number of housing units. And I think the struggle now is, how do you manage to maintain affordable housing in Bronx neighborhoods?
As we bring things to a close, what do you want people to know about Bronx Works?
Go to our website, and there's a wonderful batch of information in terms of what we're doing with regards to the year of celebration. We've got something called 40 Stories. There's an event that we're going to be having for one of our programs coming up on October the 11th. So if you go to our website, www.bronxworks.org, there's a wealth of information there for you.
All right. Well, Ken Small, thank you for coming and sharing with us. It's always good to have you, and we'll see you back real soon.
I hope so. Thank you.
Ken Small from BronxWorks. Now, as we said, for more on BronxWorks, you can check out www.bronxworks.org, and you'll find out more information about the organization. And we'll be back now with Banned Books Week here on Open. We'll explain.
It's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Take my hand and start a brand new day. And together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
I remember how much you said you liked wine. Oh.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Authors have infused communities and organizations for centuries. Banned Books Week celebrates those books by fighting for their freedom. We now have Angela Maycock on via Skype, and she'll discuss the importance of this week. And hello, Angela.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How's everything?
Really good. Glad to be here with you this morning.
Glad to have you here with us. Give us a little bit about this here, as we're here talking about Banned Books Week. Obviously, an opportunity for those to really celebrate the freedom to read.
Absolutely. Banned Books Week is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the freedom to read. It's the national book community's annual celebration of that precious First Amendment freedom that we have. It's been going on since 1982, so we're actually this year celebrating 30 years of liberating literature, so it's kind of a landmark anniversary for us.
So as you celebrate this, talk about the celebration exactly. What's going to be happening?
Absolutely. Well, libraries, bookstores, schools, community centers all across the country are going to be hosting events. They'll have readouts where folks will read from their favorite banned or challenged books. They'll be doing debates, talking about some of these issues. This year, we are doing a virtual readout where individuals can upload videos of themselves to YouTube, reading from some of their favorite books or talking about what the freedom to read means to them. Really, there's just a ton of great stuff going on this year, and we hope that folks will take it as an opportunity to learn more about what really is happening right now with censorship in this country.
Give us about that, because, censorship is somewhat big and somewhat, some people think censorship is actually done with, but in many ways, not always.
That's absolutely true, and that's really, in a lot of ways, the message of Banned Books Week is it's celebrating our freedom to read, but it's also drawing attention to the fact that censorship does still happen in this country. And my office, the Office for Intellectual Freedom at the American Library Association, we work very closely with teachers and librarians who are facing censorship issues. So I talk to these folks every single day. I talk to a librarian or a teacher who has had a parent or an administrator come to them and say, hey, I don't like this book. I want you to take it off the shelf so that no one has access to it. It happens much more frequently than we might like to think. And part of the message of Banned Books Week, as I said, is really drawing attention to the fact that this is still happening and alerting people that the best way to respond is to stand up and speak out for their rights.
So when a person has the opportunity to really say, I don't like this book, they can take it to an administrator, they can take it to, pretty much a teacher or a principal and say, listen, this is a book that I really don't think our children should be reading. And in many ways, it does work when people do have the books actually pulled from the shelves. How often are we seeing this occur?
Well, like I said, my office hears about these kinds of attempts really basically every day. We have been keeping track of challenges to materials in schools and libraries. And let me backtrack just a bit actually and define a challenge. A challenge is not just a complaint. It's not just someone saying, gosh, I don't like this book, I don't want to read it, or I don't want my child to read it. It's someone saying, not only do I not like this book, I don't think anybody should be able to read it. I don't think anybody should have access to it. So it denies an entire community the ability to read a book and develop their own thoughts about it. So that said, we have over 11,000 challenges in our database since 1990. It averages out to more than one a day. Last year, we received reports of close to 330 challenges. Our annual averages tend to be more in the 400 to 500 challenges a year range.
Mm-hmm. And so some of the things that they've been given as reasons: offensive language, religious viewpoints, sexually explicit, unsuited to age group. Now, these would seem like normal challenges that you could actually find, to make up and say, listen, this is the reason why I want this book off the shelf. But from what I'm understanding, that sometimes there's further information, or I should say further investigation, and really sometimes a book is actually suitable.
Absolutely. And the thing is that a book, what's a good book for one reader is not necessarily the right book for another reader.
Right.
And especially when we're talking about young people, whether it's children or teenagers or sort of those middle grade readers, there's such a variation in maturity level, a variation in different families, their values, and what they want for their own families and for their own children. So really what the message is coming from libraries, especially in schools, is that individual families should have the ability to have access to these ideas, that parents are the absolute best. They're the best people to make those kinds of decisions for their own children. They have the right and the responsibility to guide their own children's reading.
Pretty interesting. 326, or at least is what was reported, 326 challenges just last year. So that's a pretty big number. So now kids are going to be reading out all throughout the course of this Banned Book Week. Talk about the initiative going across the city.
It's wonderful. It's so inspiring to see not just kids, but adults, even celebrities. We've got a wonderful video from Whoopi Goldberg reading from Shel Silverstein. Our honorary chair for Banned Books Week this year is Bill Moyers, a wonderful journalist, talking about the harms of censorship. But individuals, just regular people all across the country, are picking up their copies of To Kill a Mockingbird and The Adventures of Huck Finn and their, Judy Blume books that they read when they were teenagers, and reading some of their favorite passages. Because really, if you stop and think about really any book that you read that made an impact on who you are and what you think about the world, someone at some time has probably tried to ban that book, to have it removed. So Banned Books Week is a great opportunity to stand up and say, you know what, these books matter, and individuals having access to these ideas is such an important thing.
Well, we want to thank Angela Maycock for coming and sharing with us a little bit about Banned Books Week, and thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All righty now. Now, for viewer listening or watching and want more information on Banned Books Week, guess what? It can be found at www.bannedbooksweek.org or www.ala.org, and we'll get you more information there. Now, coming up on Open, we'll see what you can do to help city children's education. That's up next when we return.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
We can all be energy savers. It's easy. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Learn more at energy.gov/kids.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live united for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
Did you find the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yup.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes. The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster.
This is so cool, Dad. Awesome. This is so cool, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
New York Cares is an organization focusing on helping children to get the most productive education that they can. In studio, we have Steven Stryker here to tell us more about it. And Steve, good to have you.
Well, thank you very much.
Good. So give us all New York Cares.
About New York Cares, well, New York Cares is the city's largest volunteer organization. Last year we worked with about 1,200 community partner organizations, and that means nonprofit organizations, social service agencies, government agencies, and schools. And we had approximately 56,000 volunteers around the city, in the Bronx, Staten Island, all 5 boroughs, working year-round in different capacities, in education, as you said, but also in social services, hunger-related issues, poverty-related issues, and all year round, and also in a series of annual events like New York Cares Day, which we will probably address.
Yeah, and that's coming up on October the 13th.
October the 13th, yes. New York Cares Day Fall. It's a citywide day of service. We're going to mobilize about 6,000 volunteers to work in about 100 schools, 20 of which are here in the Bronx. We focus on schools in the fall. Fall is a time when everybody's going back to school, and our New York Cares Day Fall is definitely focused on the schools. And in those schools, we do revitalization projects, painting murals, fixing the ground, groundskeeping at the schools. We do. We work on playgrounds and things like that. And we also, this year, a real special kind of aspect is we're actually going to be providing direct service to the students at the school. We do that in a lot of our programs during the normal month. But for New York Cares Day, typically it had focused on revitalization in the past. This year we are definitely expanding, going to work with students directly in a variety of ways, sports programs, healthy eating programs, arts and crafts, and things like that, which actually adds definitely a new twist to New York Cares Day in our, I guess it's our 21st year doing this day.
21 years of actually doing this.
21 years, 150,000 volunteers. We've worked in many of the public schools in New York. It's obviously one of the largest systems in the country, and we haven't hit all the schools, but we're close.
And I know you want to do some good things here in the Bronx, and you're trying to recruit some more volunteers here too.
Absolutely. You can still sign up at NewYorkCaresDay.org. You can get there from our main site, NewYorkCares.org, but NewYorkCaresDay.org, and all spelled out, is a special site where volunteers can register, choose where they would like to work, and also fundraise in honor of their service from friends, family, colleagues, coworkers. And that helps us run our programs, not just on the day of, but also year-round.
Right. So now we tell you, if you want to get more information about this, make sure that you get in contact with www.newyorkcares.org, and you'll be able to get more information there. We want to tell you that you can also, NewYorkCaresDay.org, and we want to tell you that you can become a volunteer simply by checking with us here at BronxNet, or really going on to their website. And what do volunteers do? When you get a volunteer out there, they can do anything from what?
Well, they can do anything from painting murals. Painting murals is one of the, I think, really a unique aspect of New York Cares Day and New York Cares programming in general. We actually have a series of mural artists that work around the city, and on New York Cares Day, they will go and they will sketch out a mural. And volunteers then, it's almost like paint by number. Volunteers then are guided through the project managers and team leaders and the mural artists to bring this mural to life. I think it's exceptional. It's helped a lot of places, a lot of schools, kind of brighten the atmosphere a little bit. And there will also be fitness programs, like I mentioned, which is kind of a different aspect, a new aspect of this year's New York Cares Day. And in those programs, they'll be working in sports programs, healthy eating, and arts and crafts and things like that.
Any specific prerequisites to be a volunteer?
None at all. None at all. On New York Cares Day Fall, it is open to anybody that wants to come out and help out.
So we're recruiting some people to come on out. As you said, you can find out more information at the website. You can find out more here on the show as well. And so how do you determine what projects you guys are going to undertake?
Well, that's a great question. New York Cares Day Fall, as I said, we focus on schools. So for example, one of our schools, PS 47 John Randolph School in Parkchester, that had been they have been participating in New York Cares Day for I think about 10 years. This year, we're really trying to highlight their work. Their assistant principal actually said, "Our school is a place where students want to be," and that is, and we would like to think that our volunteers in New York Cares has helped contribute to that. And so we pick our sites in that vein. We want to find places where we can make substantive impact and a difference in the students' lives.
Well, we'll give more information, as we said. Go to the website, and we want to thank you for coming, Stephen, and sharing a little bit with us. And we hope that all goes well, and we'll get some volunteers coming out from the borough of the Bronx.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All righty, Stephen Stryker. As we said, more can be found at the website. And when we come back here on Open, On My Block Films will join us, and they'll discuss what could be happening on your block. That's coming up when we return.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
So here are the keys. Congratulations, it's officially yours. I'm sure you'll have many happy years here. Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. So you won't be around for them. And sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test, but you didn't have it. Okay, who wants to check out the backyard?
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Hey, Mom. You know, girls, I used to cheer back in my day. Ready? Okay! Go team!
That was amazing, amazing, amazing. Mom, that was amazing.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
And we are back here on Open. There is more of the show to come, but remember to join in on the conversation at any time while we are live, calling in our studio at 718-960-7241. As always, an email at open@bronxnet.org. following and tweeting us at BronxNet TV, and you can even like our post and post something on our timeline at Facebook, on our Facebook site. And of course, we encourage you to just stay connected with us because we want to stay connected to you. Well, On My Block Films is a challenge for filmmakers where everything about their film, from the sets to the actors to the action, must be from their very own street. To give us a better idea of what On My Block is all about, we welcome now founder Ryan O'Hara and Tyson, how to pronounce it?
Tyson, yeah.
Tyson, there you go. And director Barry Cross, we welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's
great
good to have
be here.
you. Good to have you. Unique concept.
Yeah.
Only on the block.
Yeah.
So you can only use, I'm going to film on my block, but I can only use people on my block.
It's the story is written by your neighbors. The crew is your neighbors. The cast. So most of your neighbors on your block probably aren't professional filmmakers, and you're all coming together to make a great story.
So as you make this story, what kind of stories are we seeing?
We're seeing anything from documentary stories to narrative. They're short films, so they're really accessible, 1 to 5 minutes long. One was done in Carroll Gardens. That was really a neat experience where people kind of put a free camera on a sidewalk, and then we saw it travel, just like things happen in New York City. You put something on the street, sort of giving it away, and that thing leaves, and it goes into someone's house. In this case, it was a camera, so we were able to see it go into a bunch of people's homes and get a real sense of like a bunch of snippets of moments of life on this one block in Carroll Gardens.
Mary, give me a little bit about this concept. I mean, it's a unique concept. It's a great concept. Where did this come from?
Well, actually, Ryan should probably answer that one. He actually came up with the idea.
Well, yeah, so the concept came from just, I've lived here in New York City for 6 years, and in that time I've lived in 4 neighborhoods, and, I realized it was really the beginning of this year that I really didn't have any real relationships with any of my current neighbors or neighbors from the past. I think New York City is sort of an anonymous city, and we're all busy, we come home, sometimes with our head down, go inside, and just, don't really have those opportunities to introduce yourself to your neighbors as much. And also as a filmmaker, I realized, when you create a film, you come together with a lot of times strangers, and within the period of 24 hours, you've gone through challenges and you've kind of created something together, and that 24 hours of those challenges creates this bond, and it's sort of really powerful. So we were curious, hey, what would happen if we put those two dynamics together? And in a sense, On My Block Films is a big social experiment. It's our first year. We're hoping to make 50 films and hear 50 stories from all 5 boroughs here in New York City.
Well, give us a little bit. You shared a little bit about anything. It could be anything from a documentary to a narrative. And what is the buy-in on the part of the people who you get? Because you're going to the block. I'm sure you're getting people who say, "This is not my gift area. This is not what I do."
Yeah, I actually was surprised because I thought that what would happen would be the leader who kind of gets their neighbors together would probably have some experience in film, and then most likely their neighbors would not have, so they would kind of work together to make that happen. And the reality is actually it's been a mix. The first film that was submitted, not a single person on the block that was involved in the project had any professional experience at all, and their film was great, and they had a really great experience. We do have an education section on our website where we take a novice through the steps, starting from how to recruit your neighbors, and then how to write a simple storyline, and through to production and post-production editing. So I think that novices are interested in telling a story, and we've made it simple and approachable so that it really is about telling a simple story. And I think that people want a connection to their neighbors, and they want to feel like they have deeper roots in New York.
What about the kind of films that you see in terms of, there's somebody who might be a novice versus what we see as, being a veteran filmmaker? Are you seeing any difference a lot in that? Or are you seeing that some are equally as good? What do you say?
I think it's a really good question. I think for us, we've always been, it's an amazing surprise every time a new film comes through because you have no idea what to expect. And we've seen anything from, professional filmmakers sometimes have a little more polish, but in the end, it really just comes down to the story. And so we've seen anything from a horror story about a ghost in a building in downtown Brooklyn. We've also seen a film that's sort of about the end of the world, a quiet end of the world moment from Queens. And then we've also seen sort of like another film that was just a short piece about kind of meta. I don't know any other way to say it, but a film made about On My Block Films.
And we're seeing a couple of clips right here of right behind us. And what are we seeing?
So this is actually from Carroll Gardens, and this is that film I was mentioning that's called Free Camera. And so these are people picking up a camera that says free on the street, bringing it into their home for a little bit, and then they're putting it back on the sidewalk, deciding, this thing doesn't work, it's not for me. So we're seeing everything from the POV of the camera. And, you know, I think as New Yorkers, we're all really curious, you know, how everyone else's apartment looks, how do we live? And so this film sort of worked off that curiosity.
See a little small camera that was just being used. Talk to us about mobile phones, because that's something we'll talk about. You know, we've got iReporters and all that kind of stuff. Are you got iFilmers?
You know what? That is something, Mary, I don't know if you'd like to talk about that.
Yeah, you know, we don't have anyone yet who submitted a film off their iPhone or a mobile phone. But that is the idea, is that these filmmakers are using the resources they have amongst themselves on their block. And since our films are more story-focused than technique-focused, we want them to use their mobile phones or whatever they have access to. You know, and I think that it's the stories will really come through regardless.
Somebody's just watching the show right now. They're watching and say, okay, this sounds kind of interesting. I want to do this. What do they do?
What do? You go to the site. You go to onmyblockfilms.com. You register, just takes a quick moment, and then I think the next thing you would do is just look at the film steps. We made it really easy and approachable. We have a flyer, would probably be the first thing, and you just put in your name and where you'd like to host a meeting, could be at a coffee shop, and that just gets printed out on your printer, and you can put it on neighbors' steps or just spend an hour on your block just walking around giving it out. It's really about getting the community together, because that is sort of that first barrier. And once you've got everyone together, the jobs sort of get broken up, and all the fun begins then. We recommend that versus someone sort of coming up with the idea on their own and then just looking for crew and actors. It is a way you can do it, but I think the real impact and the way to make the greatest film is to get people involved like the minute after you register.
That whole engagement piece really makes the difference.
Yeah.
How's our borough doing in all of this?
Well, you guys have 2 registered filmmakers right now, and we don't have any completed films from the Bronx yet, so that is a huge reason why we're so excited to be here today. Continue to get the word out. October is really an incredible month to be outside shooting or inside, and so there's a ton of time left right now. But yeah, we would love to have a lot more Bronx filmmakers. And we're also available, you know, to help out with any questions people have when they register. We're very accessible because it's our commitment to make your film happen.
So we want you to get more information about On My Block Films. And so all you got to do is go to the website?
Yep, go to onmyblockfilms.com.
As we're seeing a little bit more of the pictures that are actually being shot here.
Some of the behind the scenes.
Yeah, these are some of the behind the scenes from the pre-production, kind of just a meeting that was done for one of the films, and this is another film here that was shot in Queens, and yeah, you can kind of just see, like, as we've mentioned, everyone, I would say 85-90% of everyone who's been making these films are non-filmmakers. They're not professionals, so they're people coming together, and I think it's that curiosity of, I want to get to know my neighbor better. This gives you that excuse, and it's also, it's fun. It's like you're 8 years old and you grab a camera and you're messing around. It does not need to be serious. This is fun.
But for somebody that says, listen, I'm not an editor. I don't know how to put all this stuff together. What do I do?
So that's a great question. 2 things. We have resources online. You can download trials of programs like Final Cut Pro and things like that, and you can do some tutorials online if you want to learn yourself. The other option is you're allowed 2 non-block residents on your team. So if you wanted to go onto Craigslist or Mandy.com or even contact us, we could put you in touch with another editor that could help you with your film, because we want to see that puppy come to life.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good all across the city. So you said you've been in the city 6 years.
Yeah.
And it kind of got birthed out of the fact of, like, I don't know who I'm around.
Yeah. I think, I've got, I think we kind of become friends with whoever we work with, and you sort of fall into that pattern a little bit. But I got to tell you, I made a film on my block and met 20 neighbors that I did not know. I knew actually one of the neighbors that lived below me, but now it's great. On a Friday night, if I want to go to dinner with someone, And yeah, you might have your friends that live across in another borough, but it's really easy when the person's next door that's your new friend. Let's go grab something to eat.
And he's a local celebrity on his block now. He walks down and everyone knows his name.
Everybody knows him. So you're the man, Ryan?
I'm becoming the man.
You're
We'll
becoming
see.
the man?
We'll
All right,
see.
all right. Well, that's cool. That's cool. We wish you all the best, and thank you for coming and
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you,
Hopefully,
Darren.
we get some more submissions from the borough of the Bronx,
Great.
and definitely we can, see some people from around our block.
Yeah.
All righty.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
much for coming and being with us. Now, guess what? You can find out how to submit your own film once again at www.onmyblockfilms.com. And guess what? We got to take a quick break and one last one. But when we return, we'll hear about the homecoming celebration happening this weekend at Hostos Community College. You don't want to miss that. Stay with us.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At iava.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. iava.org. We've got your back.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off computers and game systems when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Grab a grown-up and go online to energy.gov/kids.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family.
Ooh.
So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
There is also a very attractive extended warranty option that includes free service and parts for the next 5 years. But there's no need for you to get that. You failed to get the test you needed at the doctor that would have detected disease early enough where it could have been treated. So you won't be around in 2 years to see him grow up, which means the warranty would be useless. Okay, sign here, please.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Hostos Community College is one of the premier locations for community events and entertainment in the Bronx. This weekend, no exception. Hostos is paying host to its very own homecoming, a day full of celebrations and festivities, all counting down to the amazing Viva Bronx Festival on Sunday. And we welcome Sol Rivera Lopez to the show, and good to have you.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Got to be an exciting time for you.
It is, it is. We're full of events and activities. Nidia Edgecombe, the Director of Alumni Relations at Hostos, has worked really hard on the homecoming. This is the official celebration of the opening of the 45th anniversary of Hostos Community College. So it's a double celebration in a sense. And we want to find all those alumni that are hiding over there in the Bronx somewhere. We want them to come out, of course, and be a part of it.
Well, alumni certainly does make up a large part of, the life of a college. Even though they've graduated, certainly everybody reflects back onto their college life and their college experience.
Of course.
You guys are really tapping in here. So what's been done to really tap into the alumni?
Well, Nidia and the team, they are relentless at reaching out to the community by calling, texting, and emailing. They mailing. They're constantly doing scholarship award ceremonies and celebrations. And this just keeps bringing people back, you know. It's a constant, you know, mix of traditional means and then coming on shows like this and urging people to come.
Sometimes I think when you go to college, you know, people think that I'm just going to be done. After I graduate, that's it. But then you find a lot of people really have a vested interest in the place that they've graduated from.
Yes. And it's true for Ostos as well. I mean, I feel that a lot of people in the Bronx that have gone to Ostos, they know that they got a really wonderful experience and education that gave something back to them, and they are still living in the Bronx. And that's kind of one of the beauties of the school and of the college, and why we want them to come back.
45 years and going strong. So, you know, a lot of history to try to recapture and a lot of people to try to touch base with. Got a very special celebration on September 29th.
Yes. Well, that's sort of the culmination of it all, right? It's going to be a parade. We're going to celebrate some of the people and some of the alumni that have really been giving back to the students that are presently at the college that are facing financial hardships, and we're going to, you know, sort of acknowledge their presence and their support. We're going to have for food. We're going to have a talent show. The Viva Bronx Festival is again going to be on the Grand Concourse, so there's going to be music. There's going to be food. Everyone is welcomed. Everyone is welcome. No one's excluded.
Is it hard to get alumni to come and give back? Because, you know, sometimes people say, I've got my career now, I've got what I needed, I've got my degree, I'm moving on. Hard to get people to come back and give back?
Not as difficult as you would think. I mean, I think that with the right approach and the way that Ostos has connected with the students, they do feel that they can give back. Even if it's $10, $20, it adds up in the monetary sense. So no, I don't feel that it is as difficult. Sometimes it's just difficult to find the people that have long been gone and where are they? They've changed addresses. That constant updating, that's probably the hardest part. But people love Ostos.
They do. They really do. And we love them, and we love you guys here as well. And so, big celebration. You got the parade coming and all the... What's it like? What's the atmosphere like on campus?
Well, it's very hectic. It's also, you know, people are excited too. I mean, it's the beginning of the year, so the students are... There's a lot of students getting acclimated to being in school, freshmen. Then, you know, there are the other ones that are like gung-ho, ready to go with all the activities that are being prepared. We have a huge celebration also on the first week of October with the Bon Plenazo, which is a biennial celebration of Bomba en Plena, folkloric music of Puerto Rico. And, you know, the college is always filled with activities and cultural events, and they constantly bring the alumni to these events. You know, the alumni are they're an active part of the community college all year round. So it's exciting. I think, you know, we're all really happy.
We're encouraging, if you're a Hostos alumni, come on now. Just you know, she's here. She's trying to reach you. Don't make it hard. Don't make her have to call you. Call her. You know.
Yeah, well, they could also go to the website, you know, Ostos, www.ostos.cuny.edu/45th anniversary. And in there they have all kinds of information from events, the homecoming, golf outing, calendar, wonderful things that are going to be happening.
Off the top of your head, who are some of the most popular Hostos alumni that we can recall?
Well, the Justice Sonia Sotomayor, mother, graduated from the nursing program at Ostos years ago. And it was because of her nursing education and her nursing career that she was able to give back to her son and daughter, who have become, you know, without, you know, needless to say, incredibly successful and important members of society.
And that's a big alumni there, and there's plenty of others, and there's you out there, and all you've got to do is just reach us and get back to or check on the website so that way you can be a part of the homecoming event that's actually taking place. Big parade, the public will be out there, and longtime supporters will be out there, and it'll give hopefully another set of life, if you will, to those college students who are there.
Absolutely.
So give us a little bit about the college students who are there now. I mean, obviously they know that this 45 years is coming. They're trying to get acclimated to school, but is there a sense that, oh wow, something great is about to happen?
Well, I think that OSTOS right now is at a really critical juncture, especially because of the need, as President Obama has said, that the role that community colleges play right now. And because of the economic climate, it's really important to support the college in any way we can. The students that come to us are people that really make, sometimes they're facing incredible odds to come to the school and get an education. And I feel really proud of them. And I know everybody at the college, faculty, administration, feel really, really proud of them. The students, everybody that goes, from the very, very young to the more mature students that are there. And this is why events like this are important to support, because they are supporting education to some of the most neediest people.
Mm-hmm. And so when alumni give back, we talk about the fact that they give financially, but what are the other ways that alumni do give back?
Well, now also the Alumni Relations Office is beginning a Speakers Bureau initiative where alumni can come and speak to the students about their career paths, about what they have been through, what they have accomplished, what they have surpassed. And this is also really valuable for students that are sometimes not aware of what happens after they graduate. What are their options? What can they do? Things that they can find. And you can also find information on how to become an alumni speaker in the website as well. So this is a way to give back without not feeling that you have to give some kind of financial support.
Mm-hmm. So we encourage people to make sure that you go ahead and do that. And for people who want more information, what do they do?
They can go to our website at ostos.cuny.edu, and they can find the Office of Institutional Advancement. And there's all kinds of information there regarding alumni and how to contact us, emails, phone numbers. We're actually very accessible, and we're there to help.
And there you see the website right there that's actually at the bottom. Well, you see the website listing at the bottom of the screen, but also you see the website with a huge schedule of activities taking place for that 45th anniversary celebration. It's going to be a great time, and so we encourage you to come on out. And don't forget, on September 29th, major event. That is the culmination, well, one of the big culminations, and we want you to be a part as we celebrate with the Hostos family 45 years of actually educating and being a vital part of our Bronx community. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. Good to have you. So we want to tell you once again more on that homecoming event. Look at the website, and we'll make sure to get you what you need, because you can get to our website too, and you'll see a little bit more about it. Well, that's all we have for you today. Unfortunately, we've had a good show. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. And remember, you can also catch us on Facebook and also on Twitter. And remember, if you missed us, there's a recablecast tonight at 10 p.m. We encourage you to have an amazing week. But most of all, don't forget to keep your heart, your mind, and most of all, this channel wide open. Darren Jaime signing off for all of us here on Open. Take care.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
I remember how much you said you liked mine.
Oh.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.